Portugal's Algarve may not have the cachet of the French Riviera or the crowd appeal of Spain's party islands, but it has its own individual character, which is perhaps why Jaguar chose it for the international launch of a brand new performance car. The Algarve also happens to be home to a spectacular new racing circuit. There are a lot of positive associations with the Jaguar brand. It's a brand that epitomizes heritage, prestige, upmarket class. But performance, strangely enough, given the Jaguar heritage, isn't top of mind when you think of Jaguar cars. I think Jaguar themselves have also realized that, and they've started to put a particular emphasis on the dynamic aspect of their cars. It's the reason why we've come here to Portugal, to a fantastic racing circuit in the south of Portugal, to drive a series of Jaguar performance cars. Heading up that range, the performance flagship of Jaguar is the brand new XK-RS. The XK-RS is based on the extremely competent XK-R Coupe, a car that has been the custodian of Jaguar's sporting heritage up to now. The XK-RS takes that package a few steps further, adding more power, a reworked suspension and improved performance. The newcomer also looks the hardcore sports car part. XK Coupe has always been a pretty car, handsome in the classic sense of the word, and the XK-R has always added a little bit of attitude, but frankly, none of those two cars has had the exotic appeal of a Ferrari or a Porsche. Now this car is a totally different story. If you look at it, it has that aggression, that instant I want you appeal. It has all the right bits and pieces too: carbon fiber, a larger air intakes, a lower hunkered down stance. This is a car that says I want to be driven, and I want to be driven hard. The XK-RS has the 1,000-yard stare of an athlete in the starting blocks. The new slimmer headlights frame a sterner, more pronounced grille, while power vents on either side, a hungrier lower air intake, and a carbon fiber-trimmed splitter all indicate close attention to airflow and aerodynamics. In profile, the large black alloy rims and sticky Pirelli rubber fill the pronounced wheel arches to the brim, while the extended sills emphasize the Jaguar's low, hunkered-down stance. At the rear, it's the large fixed wing that attracts the most attention, promising the kind of downforce only real racing cars need. The rear diffuser offers further aerodynamic assistance and is also home to the chromed presence of two large-bore exhaust tailpipes. The result is a car that looks more motorsport machine than road coupe. All it needs are the numbers on the doors, the sponsor's sticker on the windscreen, the racing suit-clad driver behind the wheel, and a challenging circuit to put its dynamic talents to the test. There's more to the XK-RS than beefier looks. The engine's been given some more muscle too. It's still a supercharged V8, but powers up to 405 kilowatt. The torque output now 680 Newton meters. And as much as that's about 10 to 12% more power, in reality, it feels like this car has got a massive power injection. Blind rises, sudden dips, off-camber gradients and double apexes make the Algarve Autodrome one of Europe's most taxing circuits. It's a tough proving ground for the XK-RS, but it obliges without complaint while showing off just how much work has gone into the chassis. One of the big differences between this car and a normal XK is the suspension. It's stiffer, it's tauter and it's lower, and on a track you really feel the difference. Whereas the other car can still waft a little bit and always feel a bit like a boulevard cruiser. There's no doubt that the XK-RS is meant to feel and drive like a sports car. It has a huge amount of grip as well, of course, big fat sticky Pirelli rubber, and it's a car that as a result really almost challenges you to go faster and faster. Levels of grip quite spectacular, and as far as I'm concerned, this is probably going to be the car that puts Jaguar back on the sports car map. While the XK-RS shines on the track, it's immensely competent on the road too. Its breadth of capability means that even Portugal's often bumpy, narrow roads won't compromise its composure. So, we know that the XK-RS runs on a lower and tauter suspension, and we know that the engine produces more power. But what does it actually mean in real performance terms? Well, the XK-RS does the 0 to 100 in 4.4 seconds, and top speed no longer limited to the normal 250 kilometers an hour, but actually reaches 300 kilometers an hour with absolute ease. The dialogue between car and driver is unambiguous. You know exactly what the XK-RS is doing, and steering input becomes instant and intuitive. The Jag always feels planted and confidence-inspiring, but there's a nimbleness and edgy energy that thrills and challenges.
While the standard XKR is suave and sophisticated, the S scrapes off some of that veneer and exposes the essence and the soul lurking beneath it.
Jaguar has always been good at creating crafted, luxurious interiors, and this car is no different. I know it's got these high-backed sports seats, and I know that there's a sense of cohesion about the whole place, but it's not quite as hardcore as the exterior would suggest, and somehow I'd like a bit more carbon fiber. I'd probably like a little less padding, and sitting inside the car, I'd like to hear more of that wonderful exhaust note.
As it happens, our test car's interior offered only one of several options, and some of those do provide a racier ambiance. But regardless of finish, the XKRS provides an office perfectly suited to the performance task. The high-backed seats provide form-hugging support, the grippy steering wheel has a thick leather-clad rim, and the footwell is occupied by alloy-fashioned pedals. The ergonomics are driver-focused, and rightly so. Although nominally a 2+2, the XKRS really only offers space for 2 occupants plus luggage. The 2 upholstered indentations masquerading as rear seats are best ignored, at least for human accommodation. On the track, the poise and composure of the XKRS are repeatedly put to the test. Braking too late or turning in too early is no way to keep a car on the black stuff, but the Jaguar obliges without complaint. Riding 10mm lower than before, the suspension is taut but retains enough damping to maintain a measure of smoothness.
It's somehow fitting that the XKRS should arrive in the same year that the classic E-Type celebrates its 50th anniversary. The question is whether this car is in fact not only a spiritual successor to that car, but a true full-blooded sports car. It's certainly a lot harder, a lot meatier, and a lot more exciting to drive than the normal XK. But it still has a 6-speed automatic gearbox, and to some extent, to really make that final leap, this car needs either a dual clutch, sequential gearbox, or just a good old normal manual stick shift. That said, on a track like this, the car is superb. It tucks into corners properly, and it always feels like the dinkum thoroughbred sports car it would like to be. Would I own it? Absolutely.
Power and more torque, it figures that the XKRS is the fastest XK yet, but it also looks and handles like a real sports car, and it sounds superb too. As a result, this is a tremendous sports car that will put a grin on any driving fan's face, but for all its hardcore character, it still has to make do with a normal, if fast, shifting auto box.